Today, on Gibbles and Bits, we're smoking a chicken. Today, we're smoking a chicken. And the first thing we're gonna do is butterfly this bird. Reason you want to butterfly it is you're increasing the surface to mass ratio. And what that does is it makes it so the cooking time is a lot shorter and it's a heck of a lot easier to cut up later. So to butterfly it, what you need to do is you need to remove the spine that's along the back of the chicken, which that's where most spines are. So you're gonna lay it breast down and kind of flatten it out as best you can. It's real obvious, it's just the center of the back. And with this recipe, we're smoking it today, but you can use this to roast it as well. So if you don't have a smoker, you can just put it in the oven. Alright, so what we're going to do is take your shears. You want some heavy duty kitchen shears. Works way better than a knife. You're just going to cut along the spine on both sides. So we're going to cut down one side at a time to get this spine out. You can take your kitchen shears and just clip. You're going to hear some bones breaking. That's how you know you're doing it right. And just cut along the spine. After you get one side done, you just do it to the other side. Just find that spine and cut down. Yummy. Save that for a stock. But that's another show. Alright, now that we got our spine out, we trimmed up, got some of those bones out of there, it's time to get that keel bone right in the middle. You're going to take a knife and you're going to score along the sides of that keel bone in the middle. Looks like a tongue. So you want to break that keel bone in the middle and then it'll just pop on out. Some of them are a little more stubborn than others. But if you have to, just take a knife, kind of coax it out. And there you have it, your very own deboned chicken. So now that we got it deboned, it's time to make it delicious. I got my dry rub recipe in the description, and I got my under the skin rub recipe in the description. Now the reason I have two is because there's a difference. But you want to put on the belly side, you want to actually, I guess this would be the back side because the belly is the boobies. Give it a sprinkle. Don't be too shy with this dry rub because when you're smoking, this will form a nice, what's called a bark on there. Okay? So you want to take your dry rub and just kind of wibble it all around. You want to flip it over. This chicken's spineless. You want to flip it over, and now we go to our under the skin rub. And then on the skin rub, the big difference is you got some oil in there, okay? But the reason you have two is because this skin does what skin does. Skin is designed to keep stuff out and keep stuff in. So, if you want to get flavor underneath the skin and at that meat, you gotta put it underneath the skin. Get in there and stretch that skin away from the breast. And do the same on the legs. You're going to take it, put it underneath that skin, and just kind of rub it around. This will be very relaxing for you and the chicken. She's about to have a very traumatic experience inside a smoker. Do it to the thighs too, and just put a spoonful underneath there, and just move it around. All you're doing is distributing that seasoning underneath the skin and rubbing it into that meat. Get it down in there and just move it around. Now you might have not known this chicken long, first date, but treat it like it's a princess. Show it a good time. Okay, so now that you got all that tastiness underneath the skin, it's time for the top dry rub. Now remember, you're working with chicken. Everything I am touching right now is contaminated. You gotta remember that the whole time you're cooking. Anything that will not be cooked or washed, don't touch it. Take that dry rub and just sprinkle it on the top. Give it a little chicken tickle. Straight into the sink. We got our bird cut. We got our bird seasoned. Now it's time to cook it. You got two options at this point. I'm gonna smoke it. So for the smoking, you gotta do about 3.5 hours at 250, between 230 and 250, and I'm using a mesquite smoke. For those of you who don't have a smoker, do it in the oven. If you're doing it in the oven, you want to do it at 350 to 375 for about 1.5 to 2 hours, or until the internal temperature reaches 165. So, let's get our smoke on. Now, we're out of the smoker. I got my homemade smoker going. It's at about 230 degrees, right about where we want it to. I got some mesquite chunks in there. Not a lot, because these things will smolder for quite a long time. And we got our chicken ready to go. I'd say it's time we throw this on there. You want to do this quick, because you don't want to lose too much heat. You just take your chicken. You want to lay it breast side up. You know, people might disagree with me on that, but the breast side up or down, I say good for them. Now before you put your lid on, make sure you get that chicken juice off your hands. Time to put on your lid. Now there's one step left. Sit and drink beer. You don't want to walk away because you've got to watch your temperature. If it gets above 250, it's going to cook too fast, and that's not good food. If it gets below 230, it's going to cook too slow, and that's not good food either. So grab yourself a chair, grab yourself a beer, or if you're under the age of 21, get yourself some Kool-Aid and hang out. At the 2-hour mark, go ahead and check your chicken temperature and go from there. We'll see you then. It's been about 2.5 hours. I just checked the temp on the chicken. It's at 160. That's going to carry over to 165, and we're going to be right where we want to. It smells delicious, and I can't wait to eat it. So let's get this thing off of here and bring it inside. We're going to move this onto our sheet pan. It's going to be real tender, so make sure it doesn't fall apart on you. And in one quick motion, bring it over. We got our chicken inside. Now I'm going to cover with aluminum foil and let it rest for about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, come here.
The dogs are hungry. Now that our chicken's rest, it's time to cut it. For me, I do it in quarters. You go right down the middle. You go through the thigh, and the only thing holding that together is a piece of skin. And now, it's time to eat. And as always, I'm GibblesNBits, and this was Smoked Chicken. See you next time.